Four, three, two. All right. Hello. Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome. Welcome TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Thank you all so much. Oop, I didn't push live on Instagram. Let me do that also. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome. And thank you so much for being here with me. My name's Otis Landerholm, and I'm the founding immigration attorney here at Landerholm Immigration A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream. Thank you so much for being here and welcome. All right, welcome everybody. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, TikTok or Instagram, hey, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day, being here with me here today. Again, my name is Otis Landerholm. I'm so grateful and so happy to be here with you today. And so welcome to another episode of the Deportation Defense Live. Remember, at the Deportation Defense Live, we are here to train, to teach, to inspire, and to empower immigrants who are facing deportation to make the most out of immigration laws, to make the most out of their lives, and to win their cases. All right? Are you facing removal in immigration court? Do you know someone who's facing removal in immigration court? Because if so, you know that it is not easy. It is an uphill battle. The laws are against us. And here at the Deportation Defense Live, we're here to maximize your chances of winning that case. Today, our theme, I'm going to be talking about the 3 Ds of deportation, the 3 Ds to avoid deportation, all right? And so thanks to everybody who asked their questions. We've got 30 minutes to discuss this topic in English, then we'll do it in Spanish. I'm also particularly grateful today because last week, really the last 2 weeks, I was out of the office with COVID, all right? So this is my first live session, live stream since I have been out sick. And so I'm happy to be healthy, all right? I'm happy to be back in action. And thank you all so much for being here with me. If you missed our episode last week, it's because I wasn't doing it. I was coughing and sick and all that stuff. And so I'm happy to be back at it this week. I'm also happy because, heck, it's the 5th of July. Yesterday was the 4th of July, so happy 4th of July, everybody out there. The United States is an independent country because of the 4th of July, so happy Independence Day. So anyway, I gotta put my American plug there at the 4th of July. It's always a good holiday. All right, well, welcome to Deportation Defense Live. Thanks everybody for being here. Today I'm doing kind of a fun one. This was inspired by our managing attorney Flavio Carvalho. Flavio talked yesterday about the 3 Ds to avoid deportation. And I was like, oh, that's good. That's good. I got to use that. So that's what I'm talking about today. What are the 3 Ds to avoid? All right. What are they? All right. Drugs, DUIs, and domestic violence. If you can avoid those 3 things, you will be well on your way to avoiding deportability and avoid deportation all the way, all right? Of course, there are other things that cause deportability, but the 3 Ds are the big ones. They're so common, and they cause so many people to be deported every year. It's worth addressing them. What are they again? Drugs, DUIs, and domestic violence. And we'll be talking about each of these 3 things here at our episode today. So yes, these things cause deportability, all right? They can also cause you to become a priority for removal, which means no prosecutorial discretion, right? You'll lose discretionary benefits. They can also cause problems for good moral character. They can cause you to get your green card application or sometimes your citizenship denied. You want to avoid these things, okay? And obviously there's more things to avoid than just that. You know, you also want to avoid immigration fraud and false claims of citizenship and other things like that. But if you can avoid these 3 arrests, you'll be well on your way. Okay? So let's talk about each of them in depth. All right? D number 1 are drugs. So what are we talking about? Basically controlled substances, any drug, anything that is defined as a quote-unquote controlled substance by the United States Federal Controlled Substances Act. And so a lot of people ask, hey, what about marijuana? All right, a lot of people ask this. Okay, and marijuana is legal in my state. What about for medical purposes? All right, is marijuana still an illegal drug? The answer is yes, okay? Marijuana is illegal. It is still an illegal drug for federal purposes. So I don't care if it's quote-unquote legalized in your state, all right? Here in the great state of California, for example, it is legalized, but that doesn't mean you can use it. So don't use it. If you're an immigrant, if you have a visa or a green card, or if you're undocumented, do not use marijuana. Don't use it, don't possess it, don't cultivate it, transport it, sell it, or have anything to do with it, because it can cause a serious problem for your immigration future. All right? And obviously don't use or possess or cultivate, transport, or sell any other illegal narcotic or substance either. But marijuana often raises that question, so we got to talk about it, right? So, and I'll say, hey, become a citizen first, all right? Hire my office. Let us help you become a citizen first, and then you can use marijuana all day, every day if you want to. I don't care, all right? But until you're a citizen, don't do it, all right? It can cause a serious problem for your immigration case. All right, the second D I want to discuss are DUIs. All right, DUIs, driving under the influence of alcohol. All right, so don't drink and drive. Drinking and driving is not safe. Okay, DUIs often lead to immigration enforcement. There is a distinction. People often ask, there's a distinction. What is a DUI versus a quote-unquote wet reckless? All right. Well, different states define DUIs slightly differently, but often a DUI is defined by driving under the influence of at least 0.08 blood alcohol content in your blood. Got it? And so what happens if, you're driving and you had a beer maybe 3 hours ago, and now you're driving, you feel completely fine, but the police still pull you over. Is that a DUI? Well, maybe you had 0.08 or above in your blood at the time you were driving, and maybe you didn't, all right? So sometimes the police might pull you over, they might have you do a breathalyzer or something like that, and there might be some level of alcohol in your blood, and it might not be that legal level. Well, in instances like that, there's another charge, what we call a wet reckless. And sometimes a wet reckless is a better plea. Sometimes it doesn't bar you, for example, from benefits related to DACA or from other types of benefits. Sometimes it can be a more safe immigration plea. You got to be aware of it, okay? And sometimes it still causes a problem, and so you want to avoid any conviction or any guilty plea at all, depending on your situation, okay? If you're undocumented, for example, any conviction can lead to immigration enforcement, okay? But you might be more likely to be eligible for a green card or for cancellation of removal or for other immigration benefits if you have a wet reckless instead of a DUI. So it's one of these things that you want to be aware of. So DUIs, they don't cause quote-unquote inadmissibility or deportability automatically. They don't always cause them, I should say. But the problem with them is they put people on immigration's radar. All right? They often lead to people who are undocumented to now be faced with deportation proceedings. And so that's the issue with DUIs. You want to avoid them. So the best advice always, take Uber, take Lyft, call a friend instead. Don't drink and drive at all instead. All right, don't risk it because it can put your immigration case in jeopardy. So that's our second D for today. DUIs, don't get a DUI, okay? And the third D, which in my opinion is the most serious of the three, is domestic violence, all right? Domestic violence, you like drugs, DUIs, and domestic violence. Avoid these three, all right? Domestic violence can cause inadmissibility, it can cause deportability, it can bar a person from green cards, from citizenship, and from other benefits. You know, my best advice for people facing charges, or if you've ever been arrested or charged with having committed domestic violence, I highly recommend working with a trained psychologist, working with a trained counselor who can help you get to the bottom of what is really at issue. Okay? DV often stems from some kind of insecurity. All right? It's like there's a desire to control the world around you. There's a desire to control people around you because you feel insecure. All right? And maybe you were the victim of domestic violence when you were a kid. All right? We've got so many clients that were the victim of serious abuse as children in their home countries. That's sometimes part of the reason of wanting to leave the situation that you were in. All right? And anyway, I see it so frequently, I really just recommend that anybody that's even remotely in that situation, like, go to work on it, all right? The first step is to just take a step back, recognize it, and a good psychologist can help you to recognize it. So many people are like, no, that's not an issue for me, without taking a step back and really thinking about it, all right? Often the first key is self-awareness. So anyway, those are the 3 Ds, ladies and gentlemen. All right, the 3 Ds to avoid, how to avoid your deportation. I mean, there's more things to avoid with immigration law, but please, at the very least, learn to avoid those 3 things: drugs, DUIs, and domestic violence. All right, so that's really what I wanted to explain today. Thank you all so much for being here. Thanks to everybody on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. On Instagram, I see some folks. Yadira, hello. DJ, hello. Lacey Alcantara, hello. The Fashionaholic, cool name, hello. Welcome. And I see some questions here. If you have a question, feel free to submit it. All right. My first question today comes from Grace. Grace, you ask, how to successfully have a stay of removal sent to ICE? Is there only medical reasons that will grant a stay of removal? Okay, good question. So Grace, thank you for asking that question. If you're asking for ICE to stay your deportation, there's several things that you can put in that request. In fact, you can kind of put everything in that request. It doesn't just have to be medical reasons. It could be issues of a personal nature. It could be family type of hardship. If you are simultaneously applying for some kind of immigration benefit, a U visa or an asylum or something like that, you can include that in your stay request. You can include everything in a stay request. There's no limit as to what you can apply for or what you can include in the stay. The place to start with a stay request is Form ICE 246. All right, so if you Google that, ICE 246, you'll see what ICE considers. All right, and you can, you can take a look at that and see the types of things that they want to see in terms of evidence, and just put it together. All right, and you can submit a declaration, you can submit photos, you can submit evidence of medical issues if you have them, but you can also submit other evidence of hardship, financial hardship, and maybe work related. You wouldn't be able to pursue your career, right, without it. Or if you were removed from the U.S. or whatever. There's lots of things that you can include. All right, and if you need help with that, hey, please give us a call. We'd love to help you. All right. I see some other questions coming in. Hey, keep them coming. I love it. That's great. So let's see. My next question comes from, I think it's Tunji. Tunji, thank you for asking your question. You say, good afternoon. My question is, I have been in the United States stuck since October of 1996. And unfortunately, I don't remember the exact date. I came to the U.S. as a musician, as a band member, and my band abandoned me, and I really need you guys to help me out to gain status. So what can I do now? I'm confused. That's my question. I've been without status in the U.S. since 1996. All right. So, Tunji, thank you for asking that question. I appreciate it. And my, my best advice is, hey, let's start with a consultation. Let's get to the bottom of what your situation really is. Let's see what we could do. Are you in any relationships with a U.S. citizen? Have you ever been the victim of any type of crime here in the United States? Are you afraid for your life to return to your country? Maybe you're eligible for asylum. Do you have a case that was filed in the past that we could file a motion to reopen that old case? There's lots of different options out there, and we've got to get to know your specific case to best advise you on what option will be the best way to move forward in your case. All right? So let's see. I'm seeing some other folks. So, Mr. Tusk, hello. Thank you for asking that. You say, what are the numerous benefits of being a green card holder? Oh, man. I mean, talk about freedom. What's the benefit of the freedom to work any job you want, to travel as you want to in and out of the United States, to live your life? All right, that's the benefit of a green card, of having a green card. Visas are good. They allow you to enter the U.S. for one specific purpose. But green cards, oh my gosh, green cards are 1,000 times better, everybody. Green cards are so much better, right? Every day it's like we maybe have 1 or 2 people calling our office every day for visas. But we've got 10, 20, 30 people lining up outside of our door asking, how can I get a green card? People want freedom. And a green card means freedom. Freedom to travel, freedom to work, freedom to live your life. All right? It's so much better. All right? Anyway, yeah. Maria, I see your question here. Hey, please talk about the U visa. All right? And you say the bulletin board, you're meaning how long U visas are taking. U visas are taking a long time. All right? They take a long time. If you apply for a U visa today, it's probably going to take 15 years before that visa is fully decided. And in the meantime, you can qualify for a work permit. All right? And the work permit process, right now is starting, give yourself probably 4 or 5 years before you're eligible for a work permit, just based on the sheer number of U visas that are pending. Okay? So Maria, hopefully that helps. Anthony Gardan, hello. Feliz Dia de la Independencia. All right. Hey, Anthony, it is great to see you. Hola, gracias. You're like, I love you, man. I love you. Old friend of mine from northern France. Thank you for being here. Roommate. We lived together in Buenos Aires when I was, living in Buenos Aires. Great to see you. All right, I see a question here from let's see, DJ on Instagram. Hello, you say, hello, if I was already deported, what's the first step to return to the U.S.? If you have 10-year orders, okay? The first 10 years are over, and I'm a year into the second. My year-old daughter wants to apply for me, but does not live in the U.S. Oh, sorry, you say my 21-year-old daughter wants to apply for me but does not live in the U.S. Okay, well, so where does your daughter live? And is she a U.S. citizen? Because if she's a U.S. citizen, she can petition for you. And you don't have to live in the U.S. when you petition somebody, but you do have to live in the U.S. once they need to be your sponsor. And so have her move back to the U.S. at the time that she needs to become your sponsor. And the 10-year issue, yeah, she's a U.S. citizen. Okay, great. Well, the 10-year issue, we've got to look at that. And so, you know, I would say let's do a consultation. Let's run your FOIAs. Let's see what really happened there. And are you sure it's a 10-year bar and not a permanent bar? Are you sure that there's only a 10-year bar for unlawful presence, or is there some other bar out there maybe for fraud or for other type of inadmissibility? We want to get to the bottom of those issues and then see, are they waivable, see if there's some other thing that we could do. But we could do that. You know, it all starts with a phone call. It all starts with a consultation. We can totally do that. So DJ, give us a call. We'd love to walk you through that. All right. I think those are all the questions that I got. Thank you all so much. Anthony, friend of mine, thank you for being here as well. And thanks to everybody who's joined in. Thanks to everybody on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Hello, and thank you all, really. Thank you all so much. So that's all the time that we have for today. I will be doing this episode in Spanish. Así que si usted habla español, vamos en unos 5 minutos en español. If I haven't answered your question, and if you still have a question, hey, send it over. I'd love to answer it. We upload questions to YouTube, TikTok all the time. And so please, you know, send it to me. I'd love to answer it. To see those answers, or even, you know, if today was useful and if you want to get notifications and stuff, please subscribe to our channel in YouTube. Click that notifications bell and you can get notifications, updates, more news in the future. And if you have an immigration case, hey, please give us a call. We are just a phone call away, folks, and we are here to help. So thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I wish you the best of luck with your immigration case. My name's Otis Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream, and I will see you on the next episode of the Deportation Defense Live. Thanks a lot. Gracias. Bye-bye.